of like minding my own business. And then the Best of Both Worlds album popped in my head. And I'm like, man, I wonder what happened with that. And so I looked up, I'm like, I know it existed. Didn't they have a tour? And so I looked it up and I came across this and I'm like, okay, I'm not making it up. Yeah, it was the thing. Do y'all remember this?
Welcome to the Best of Both Worlds.
Yes. Like, do y'all remember that?
Welcome to the Best of Both Worlds.
This was so iconic. So iconic. Then I'm like looking it up and I'm like, wait, what? It's a whole bunch of stuff going on without me trying to go down the rabbit hole. Y'all come along with me as the Best of Both Worlds, which ended up to being a collision, a straight up collision.
What did she say?
Say what?
That's basically what I said this whole time looking this up. So I just want to preface, I am not a conspiracy theorist. This is not a conspiracy theory channel. However, like I do talk about random things for Say What. I don't even know how mental health is going to tie into this, but baby, let's go on for the ride. So as you saw in the opening, you remember the Best of Both Worlds. Ooh, I'm telling you, like I love that. I love that album. That was like in college, and then they had the other one afterwards, which I really didn't listen to. But Best of Both Worlds was my jam. It was my jam. Like if you are like an 80s and 1983 to maybe like, I don't know, 90, you might have heard of this, right? So the songs was, of course, Best of Both Worlds, Break Up to Make Up, The Streets, Naked, Somebody's Girls, Shorty, The Power of the PU, Blah Blah Why. That was a really catchy song. Take You Home, It Ain't Personal, Green Light, Shake Your Body, Get This Money, and Honey. Like this was the album, like that like really this was like floating on bootleg. Like that's back in the day when people used to like burn CDs, and then you had like the guy outside of the convenience store saying, "Hey, got them albums, got that Best of Both Worlds album." Like yes, had all of that. I even had like a mixtape of all of Jay-Z songs from Reasonable Doubt. I think up to then was like the Black Album, and they had like bits and pieces of the Best of Both Worlds in there. So I'm just like, yes. And so then you look around and you don't even see it anymore. Like it's not on Spotify last time I checked. And the only way that you're ever going to hear this album is if you go on YouTube. YouTube still have like the whole album or bits and pieces of the songs, but this is a mystery. Like if you weren't born in my time, you don't even know that this album even exists. So I forgot that there was even a tour because I was young. And this was before I got crazy about like concerts or whatever. So I looked up and was like, okay, was there an actual tour, baby? Yes, there was a tour. So as you can see, it started like September 29th, 2004, all the way up to November 28th, 2004. It was supposed to start earlier than 2004, but R. Kelly got in a little bit of trouble, which he's in trouble with for now. Is there was a inappropriate tape of him and a 14-year-old floating around. And that also, while they were selling the Best of Both Worlds, that was also a tape that the bootleg man was selling. Like times is totally different in 2024. Crazy. 20 years ago was a different time, right? So the importance of these dates is when we get to October 29th, things just got a little crazy. So actually the tour stopped on October 30th was the last tour, which was Sans R. Kelly, which we'll get into later on. So they never got to finish the tour and go to these other cities, and people were outraged because they lost their money. You know, they paid for these tickets and they didn't get to go because they're like, it's just two people collide, two personalities. Like people like Jay-Z was like one of the hottest rappers back then, and R. Kelly was like, they were king back there. So everybody wanted to see, see them in action and stuff like that. Thankfully, Chicago was the first, so Chicago got to go to the Best of Both Worlds concert. So sorry, New York and Miami and all of you guys. But August 29th is a very pivotal date of this tour. But I don't want to jump ahead. So let's go down the memory lane of the Best of Both Worlds. Everybody was super excited about these two going on tour. So as I said, the tour started in 2004, but the announcement was made May 3rd, 2002. So let's get into them announcing the tour.
Project together.
I just say, like, we had the the Fiesta remix and Not Guilty, and doing that and hearing how those two singles came out. We would always toss the idea back and forth, but it was just an idea. Like, we can do a whole album together. And we creative people, so creative people create. Just the idea of having a whole album with myself and R. Kelly was just see how it would come out was just an amazing prospect. So we put it together, man. We started coming up, and here we are.
It's like mad scientists in the basement. You know what I'm saying? Jay is real creative. I'm real creative, and it's like you want to get together and mix potions. You know what I'm saying? Just to see what happens. That's how the lights were created. The piano and cameras. You know what I'm saying? That's how all this happened. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got together and and said,
did you hear Jay-Z say not the cameras? You can already tell, like, it was already a personality difference, like right in the beginning, like in the exception of this, you can tell that it was already a little bit of something like not the, but anyway, let's go.
Let's see how this works. Let's see how that works. And that's how great things happen.
Okay. So
Next question.
Hi, will you guys be touring together?
Best of Both World tours come to a city near you soon. Definitely tour together with the show. We right now
Best of Both Worlds, t-shirts, draws, condoms, everything, burgers.
We gonna put the show together. Just one set, but just a real, like, it's all the way together. It's not gonna be two sets.
Right.
Just one long set. You're doing the songs that people love them for. I'm doing songs from my album, and we're doing songs from the Best of Both Worlds album, and giving people what they came to see.
Right.
So that sounds like an amazing tour. Let me just see what Jay-Z album was out in 2002. I'm just curious about it. So at that time, it was Unplugged Out, Blueprint. So this was all the way up to the Blueprint, which we know that the Blueprint is dope, like one of the dopest Jay-Z albums out there. So that album had to be super. Oh my God, I wish I could have been in that tour. I was fans of both of them. I don't think you can publicly say you're a fan of R. Kelly anymore. But R. Kelly album that was out in 2001 was TP2. Yeah, TP2 was like one of the dopest R. Kelly albums. That, in my opinion, or whatever. So yeah, so you got Blueprint, Best of Both Worlds, and TP2. Come on, that concert was so dope. Back when it was acceptable to listen to R. Kelly, which we'll get into that later. So yeah, everything is going good. They're about to go on tour. Whoop the whoop. Next thing you know, this video with the 14-year-old and R. Kelly is circulating. So they had to put the tour on hold because R. Kelly had to face a trial, which we know he was not guilty. And I believe that Jay-Z and R. Kelly had a song, Not Guilty. If I'm not mistaken. Okay, so yeah, that was the thing. I just wanted to make sure. All right, so back to the subject at hand. I don't think I'm saying it right. All right, so they announced the tour 2002. It didn't seem like it didn't happen because R. Kelly had some legal issues that he needed to tend to. And so when he went on MTV, they asked him about how did he feel about the allegations. And so this is what Jay-Z had to say. I mean, I found so much footage on this. For this to like be under the rug, it was just so much stuff online about it. But let's get to it.
Both World with R. Kelly. Have you maintained any type of contact with R. Kelly since?
We spoke, like, we spoke a couple times, but I don't really want to be like, I know he's getting calls from everywhere, and some people really concerned. Some people just want to be nosy. They want to know what's going on in the guy's life. You know, I don't want to be another person like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, got love for the dude. You know, I mean, if he's guilty, I just hope and pray that he get help. If he's not, I wish everybody, you know what I'm saying, everybody embrace him, you know, and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not. Our contact is just sparse.
Okay. Well, you as a
So basically, he's saying, you know, I'm not bothering him. I'm letting him do his thing. I'm letting him, you know, get whatever needs to be getting on this, and that's just the end of it. So it looked like he just separated himself from it, because I guess if Jay-Z would have said anything other than that, then people would have been asking him questions. But back then, the way the culture was, nobody would have asked him questions. Like now, everybody would ask him questions because people are wondering, like, you know, you guys did a couple of songs together. You guys did 2 albums together, Unfinished Business and Best of Both Worlds, you know, together. And y'all have they have a healthy catalog together. So it's just kind of like, did you witness any of this? Did you ever see any of this? Some people even believing that maybe he could have engaged in this, but like I say, this isn't a conspiracy theorist type video. So I'm only gonna, you know, say what I see, but Nas did definitely feel like maybe Jay-Z knew more than what he was letting off. So according to an article from Vibe.com. Remember Vibe? Oh my God, this is just taking me all the way back. So an article resurfaced probably 2019, January 16th, around the time where Surviving R. Kelly came out, which was like January 3rd, which we'll get into that later. Nas claims Jay-Z knew about R. Kelly's predatory behavior in a resurfaced interview. But I get like Nas is saying that, but everybody knew about his predatory behavior, and nobody said anything. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, to ostracize, Nas knew about it. You know, like everybody knew about it, and no one said anything. So I think to crucify Jay-Z would be to crucify yourself, Nas, in that point. So this weekend, a Nas interview with Wendy Williams resurfaced with the rapper angrily calling out Jay-Z for continuing to work with the singer after rumors continued to spread about Kelly's interest in teenage girls. The year was 2002, and for many hip-hop historians, the time of Nas and Jay-Z's infamous feud. Okay. That's not my style, and my Illmatic MC said on Wendy's former 106.5 FM radio show. I could have shown the R. Kelly video that everybody's talking about and made fun of it and show pictures of Jay hanging out. You can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come into the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. You gonna tell me he didn't see no 14-year-old girl come into the vicinity? In the early aughts, Jay and Kelly paired up to release Best of Both Worlds after their successful single collaboration, Fiesta Remix and Guilty Until Proven Innocent. If I'd have kept reading, I'd have found out about the song, right? Went to the top of the charts. 2002 was also the year recordings of Kelly engaged in sex acts with a 14-year-old circulated around the country. So we talked about that. So, you know, it says, you've seen it go. Nas continued and said, you've seen it go down. I've been around R. Kelly. I've been on tours with him. I didn't see no 14-year-old, but I talked to the man and see there's a little problem there. The brother needs help, and I pray for him. I'm here for the people. I'm here to talk about the truth. So he says he's been on tours with him, but he didn't see a 14-year-old. Well, could it have been that Jay-Z didn't see a 14-year-old sit on his lap? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my thing. Like, everybody want to crucify the next, but everybody seemed like the industry knew about it. It was just a shame when the documentary came out and it was like brought to light. But back then, nobody was giving it the flux that it needed to be given. It wasn't new about what he was doing. He was at the Rock and Roll McDonald's downtown. I'm from Chicago. Like, he was at U of I Champaign with the college students. He was in the high schools. It was known. It wasn't even known around the industry. It was known in the city, and no one did anything until later on in life with the Me Too movement, which we'll get into later. So I just kind of feel like if we're going to tear Jay-Z down, everybody should hold themselves accountable for knowing that this was going on and nobody did anything, you know? So anyway, let's fast forward. 2004, happens, and now we have the best of both worlds. As we saw, the tour was getting popping, right? So he's found not guilty. R. Kelly, that is, he's found not guilty, and so they move forward with the tour. So the tour starts off. R. Kelly is already late. Then a couple of shows were canceled. And then in St. Louis, R. Kelly just walked off the stage. And so Jay-Z talked a little bit about what happened in St. Louis. So let's get into that.
We had one particular show in St. Louis, and in the middle of the show, he walked off the stage and into the crowd. And I thought it was part of the show. I thought it was a cool trick. I was like, that's pretty cool. I try that on my next tour. The sound guy, he didn't know what to do, so he just kept following him with the camera. And then on the big screen is him, and he's arguing with this light guy. And he goes back on stage just in time for the cue to go, huh. He hits the hook, he goes out, and then he went to McDonald's. And he worked the drive-thru for an hour. I'm not making this up. I like it.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. And what's not far-fetched is, I believe that, because R. Kelly's like, I know everybody make jokes about R. Kelly's connection to McDonald's, but apparently that is some place him and his mom used to go together. And so McDonald's is a special place for him. So it's not beyond me to believe that that actually and truly happened. So Entertainment Weekly actually has a timeline of what happened on the tour. So let's get into it. So like I said, this was published November 12th, 2004. Basically, this is after the tour was pretty much canceled or close to it almost being canceled. So 2 years ago, their first joint tour was aborted because of R. Kelly's legal woes. We talked about that. 2 weeks ago, Jay-Z and R. Kelly's second cross-country jaunt devolved into chaos. How did something so beautiful get so ugly? That's what I was saying. Like, what happened? So August 19th, we know they started in Chicago. So the rap soul duo announces the Best of Both Worlds tour, Unfinished Business. It debuted on #1 on the Billboard chart. Like, they were getting it. You know what I'm saying? So August 19th, 2004, they're going to go on tour because, all the legal stuff is over with. So September 30th, R. Kelly arrives at Chicago Arena 2.5 hours after showtime on the tour's second night. He was reportedly rearranging the set list. So he decided the day of the concert to do that. All right. And he was late on his own home turf or whatever. So August 1st, the Cincinnati gig got canceled. The tour organizers cite logistical and production concerns from last night's show in Chicago. So basically he changed the whole set. So they had to rearrange everything. October 23rd, R. Kelly leaves the stage midway through St. Louis Day after the argument about lighting, and we just saw Jay-Z explain that. Spends the rest of the evening working the drive-through at a nearby McDonald's. He believes he can fry. They're hilarious, right? And then October 24th, gigs in Milwaukee and Hartford were canceled due to what a tour spokesman called technical problems. October 29th, Kelly leaves the stage of New York City's Madison Square Garden after announcing that 2 men in the audience were waving weapons at him with no guns fired. He returns, but he says he was attacked with pepper spray. So we're going to get into August 29th. I don't want to keep getting into it. We're going to stop right there because, as you see, then it just went crazy. So I just wanted to do a quick little rundown of what happened before we get, because Madison Square Garden was like the epitome. Like, that was the end. That was the end. Jay-Z had enough with the level of unprofessionalism, and actually they did he was on Angie Martinez's show the day after that Madison Square event took place. But before we get into that, I just want to get into Jay-Z's own words in his interview with Angie Martinez. Don't you love it when they used to go on the radio and actually talk, and they didn't talk in riddles or whatever? So the build up. This is the build up, and this is what Jay-Z, this is his edition of what happened.
They don't know that you missed the lighting cue. What are you talking about? Right? So the cue that was missed was 2 sets ago. So that had to be all premeditated. Then I do a set, then he do a set, and then he runs off and brings it to right there. Is this the reason? Shout out to Gary Westcott. We saw you had to put up with all that.
Is this the reason that? Because I know there was a show in Connecticut that was canceled.
Yeah, because he wanted to get a new lighting guy.
got canceled too, so we had to cancel.
That's why the two were canceled that we spoke of earlier is because R. Kelly just didn't like the lighting.
Milwaukee, and we had to cancel Connecticut.
You can't fix this. Like, you're gonna
We canceled Cincinnati.
Hartford.
I mean, this is just disrespectful.
Are you gonna do the rest of the tour by yourself?
Okay, so let's stop there. So this is what Jay-Z had to say, like at the beginning of it, like, are you serious? Like, we had to keep canceling, and he just didn't like the unprofessionalism that was going on. Okay, so now let's get into the fateful night, the Madison Square Garden event. This happened October 29th. So this is gonna be a segment that I'm gonna try to put together because I have people that were there in the backstage that was saying something different than what Jay-Z said. And R. Kelly tried to clean it up when he said what he said. Now I'm gonna tell you about R. Kelly part. I'm gonna skip a little bit through it because R. Kelly talks like he writes his songs, very detailed, and it takes him forever to get to the point. So I'll make sure that I edit it up. It's all edited up so you can just hear, what he had to say about that unfortunate night. So August 29th, we go back to Entertainment Weekly. R. Kelly leaves stage of New York City's Madison Square Garden after announcing that 2 men in the audience are waving weapons. I read this, and when no guns are found or weapons are found, he returns but says he was attacked with pepper spray en route. October 30th, R. Kelly blames a member of Jay-Z's entourage for spraying and snipes. The fans deserve better than this. I like the show to go on. It's really disappointing that Jay-Z and the promoter don't. So Jay-Z had enough at this point. He canceled the tour. He canceled Christmas. He was like, this is enough of this. This is enough of these antics. As we see, he had to deal with R. Kelly like constantly canceling the tour over lighting. And so dealing with his ego is probably just gotten to him. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really blame Jay-Z for how he feel because he was like super, super upset. So we're going to get into what Jay-Z's version of it. Then we're going to get into R. Kelly's version of it. And then there were two other people that were there that talked about their side of it. So when we put all this together, we can probably get a feel of what happened because Jay was saying that there were no weapons, there were no pepper spray. However, someone was charged for, spraying with the pepper spray, and he went to the hospital. R. Kelly actually had to be rushed to the hospital. So something happened. Oh, yeah. And before, we keep going with recordings, I should have did this in the beginning. Please know, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay, this is Jay-Z's recount of the Madison Square Garden concert.
Bugging.
So what happened tonight? So he came out. He said.
First of all, this is Madison Square Garden, right? I mean, come on, New York City. Come on, anybody know Madison Square Garden? No.
Let me just say, people there was, a lot of people were there, but there are definitely people listening that wasn't there. What happened? R. Kelly came out during the show and said, "I want to tell New York I love y'all, but there's people."
You don't love New York.
He said there's people.
Can't say that.
Let me tell you what happened.
I'm a little hyped.
I understand. I just want to keep everybody in the loop of what's happening. So he said,
"This sounds like a person that just had enough."
I just want to tell y'all I love New York, but there's people in the crowd that got guns on me, and so did he say something like there's about to be a riot in here?
Yeah, whatever that was.
And it's not worth it. He dropped the mic and got off stage. About 5 minutes of straight black. No lights, no nothing.
So I'm in the back changing. I'm in the quick booth change. I'm gonna give you the background.
Yeah,
I'm in the quick booth changing, and I'm feeling like again. I mean, come on.
How'd you get word? Did you hear him saying this, or did you know he was in the break out?
Yeah, I heard. It was when we do the show, it has a rhythm. So I'm like, wait a minute. Like when you feel like for a second the music didn't drop. I'm like, what's going on? I asked the guy Randy Bazzelli, what's happening? And I look through the thing and I see him in the front of the stage, but I can't hear what he's saying. I thought he was going for the lights move again.
So the thing is, if this did happen, Jay-Z had no recollection of what was going on because it sounded like he was changing.
My lights is messed up again, I thought he was going for that move. I didn't know he said something as ridiculous as someone in the crowd is pointing the gun at him. That's Madison Square Garden. That's a world class. I mean, they're tough in the garden. You can't do what you want in the garden. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. No, I don't want to put Puff out there, but he had a tough time getting backstage. It's a tough thing. So imagine that.
My bag's going.
Why did he have a tough time? Okay, this is not a Diddy video. Let's go.
Can I get a gun in Madison Square Garden? Are you crazy?
So he's saying security is so tight, it doesn't matter who you are. You're not getting weapons into Madison Square Garden.
Like, does he know where he's at? This is the Garden.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So at what point did, because people gave him love when he was performing?
Yeah, but that's the problem. We even have good shows. But if I get love, like if people give me love, he has a problem with that. Like his ego cannot take that. That's just
Have you tried to talk to him about it?
Well, you know, I haven't really seen R. Kelly tour with many people before or after that. Jay-Z has always toured with somebody. I don't think Jay-Z has ever done a tour like completely by himself. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he's always been collab with somebody. Like I think he did one with our with Mary J. Blige, one with Justin. Of course, we know he did one with his wife Beyonce. So it always seems like it's a collaborative thing when he goes on tour. But like I said, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Of course, and I've talked to him like a real dude because he's not used to having real dudes. Like, yo, dude, you're ruining yourself. You know, I don't work for you, B. You know what I'm saying? I don't work for you, nor am I under you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a bad dude myself.
What's his reaction to that? Like,
not my lights. I said, no, it wasn't your lights. It was just because his first two shows was horrible. I was like, it's your lineup, B. Change your lineup.
Mm.
And he changed the lineup when we started good shows for a while, and then.
Well, maybe that's why he changed his lineup. Remember in the timeline it said he wanted to change his lineup. That's why he was late for the second show, the Chicago show. So, you know, maybe he was listening.
Back into this.
Like that, just like as blunt like that, you told him?
Oh, yeah, I'm a real dude.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm a real dude.
But did you tell him about the ego thing? Did you talk to him about that?
Okay, let's fast forward.
From the outside, because, you know, I'm sure you have your own emotions and your own, but as somebody who was at the show, like when he did that, I almost felt like, first of all, it was disbelief from everybody that I was sitting there. It was disbelief.
Right.
And when you first came out and you did the first song, we wanted to rock with you, but we were still kind of not sure what the hell was going on. But by the second and third song, we forgot.
Yeah, no, and by the way, that was a big, like, and I heard that, and that's a big thing. Like, I mean, you got a whole arena full of people that came to see both of us, and now I got to carry that whole weight. Like, that could have went out anyway. He put me out there. He put me out there too many times. It's just too many times. It's enough.
Okay, so that was Jay-Z's version. Basically, he had to hold the rest of the concert down because R. Kelly left because he said he felt like his life was in danger. Like, let's get into R. Kelly's version. And like I said, you may see some skips in it because it took him a minute to actually get to the point. And so I listened to it. You know, I walk so you can run, basically. All right, so
and all my fans out there is listening. If you guys just take a minute, just a second, and go back 15 years, I have never just stopped a show. I don't care who I've been on the stage with.
And you know what? I looked it up. I know I'm starting quick, but I looked it up, and R. Kelly didn't cancel a lot of shows. Like, his shows didn't start getting canceled until after the Surviving R. Kelly piece, when people weren't coming because they were just disgusted by, you know, watching that documentary. And so I actually attended one of his concerts, probably like right after college or something. It was in Chicago, whatever. This is way before Surviving R. Kelly, and he was on time. It was a good show. So I can sort of agree with him on that, because I did look it up as well, and I didn't see where it was that many interruptions on any of his tours that any of his solo tours.
May not be the best of both worlds, but I've been on stage with many of people, and I've seen artists come out and get way more response than me on some shows. But I'm not about competing with people. I love music, and I love doing what I do.
So he says he didn't have an ego. I think they're both big in their genre. So I feel like they both might have had a little bit of ego. So anyway.
Well, what happened is when I came out, first of all, I was threatened earlier prior to that. Competing with people. I love music, and I love doing what I do.
So what happened?
Well, what happened is when I came out, first of all, I was threatened earlier prior to that. You know,
and I think he meant Ty, which we'll get into him later, because that's one of Jay-Z's childhood friends.
Don't come to Madison Square Garden. Now, this ain't my first time being threatened. You know, I've been threatened before.
What do you mean threatened on the phone?
Yeah, on the phone. Yeah, on the phone. And I've never been, scared of anything but God. You know what I'm saying? So I came anyway. But I did let my people know, I let my lawyers know, I let my business manager know, and a couple of people that's close to me that I had gotten threatened. What you think I should do?
Was this an anonymous threat, or was this somebody that you know?
It was a private call on my phone.
Nobody that you knew, just don't come to the garden.
Nobody that I knew.
Something's going to get threatened.
Anytime I've been threatened on the phone, I didn't know who it was, you know what I'm saying? But it happened, but I came anyway.
Why are you getting threatened so much on the phone, R. Kelly? Anyway, listen.
Because I really wanted this show to happen just like Jay, just like everybody else. But I don't know who Jay travels with. I travel with 3 kids. I'm out. 3 kids, and my wife out here with me. You know what I'm saying? And they were with me. They had the show. If they come out and have the thing, you know what I'm saying? And doing me and Jay's part, I saw a guy looking real hard at me, you know what I'm saying? And I said, okay, it's New York, it's hard, it's all good, you know what I'm saying? But I went back to the left, came right back to the right, and during that time, dude opened up his coat. I can't say the guy had a gun. I'm not going to lie on anybody. I don't.
Now, R. Kelly, this is where it's problematic, because it was said you went on stage and you said that there was a weapon. So now Jay-Z is saying there's no way a weapon can come into Madison Square Garden. But then now you're saying I wasn't gonna say it was a weapon, but you got on stage, they said, and said that it was a weapon. And now, let's keep going.
Know if he had a gun, but when he made the movement to open up his coat, I saw something. I don't know what I saw. It's like,
I think he was scared. At this point, I think it was just fear. So maybe he thought that it might have been a weapon and he got scared. That's what it seemed like.
6-roll, whatever. That's what happened. I bypassed it. I didn't worry about it. But when I went backstage, after Jay came out, I went back to change so I could come out for my segment. I asked my wardrobe. I told my wardrobe lady what had happened. And I asked her, what do you think I should do? Because I don't want nobody thinking that it's going to be some more drama or anything like that. But she told me I should just let security know or whatever. That time I was talking to her and changing. Between talking to her and changing, I got back out. It was my time to go back out for ignition. I came back out for ignition. The guy wasn't there. I had told my guy John to go around and see if he had saw the guy. John said he actually remembered a guy sitting like maybe 5th or 6th row. So he ran out there, but he said the guy wasn't there. I came out and I didn't see the guy either. But as I'm performing now, I'm really into the looking in the crowd. I see another guy in the bleachers doing the same damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my French, but I saw another guy.
You saw him from the bleachers?
There was another guy in the bleachers to my right doing the same thing. Maybe 4 rows up.
So it sounded like he was being taunted. That's what it seemed like that was going on. Maybe it wasn't a weapon, but it was like a threat. Like, you shouldn't be here. Because if he said he received phone calls before the concert happened, I can see how he would be a little fearful. And, I'm not going to say he imagined it because this is his experience, but I can see how he was a little jumpy.
The bleachers, they go up. So another guy.
Is that when you said, is that your girl, homie? Like right around there?
No. Just when I was like, around the time when I was singing, the first time was around the time when I was singing, what's this song, A Woman's Fed Up? When I said, Top calling Tyrone. Yeah, I never do that. If anybody know my show, I usually let the audience sing it. And they'll usually say, calling Tyrone. But my fans know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I sang that part tonight for the first time ever, because I know it's a part you let the crowd sing. But the reason I sang it because at that point I was nervous as hell. And I was, struggling for my words. It got quiet a few times on my segment because things that I was supposed to say, I couldn't say because I'm now worried about my back, or my front, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, the second time it happened, the segment was almost over. I went backstage, I ain't gonna lie, I was crying, I was upset, I was pissed off, and I called my production manager, Chris. He called Joe McDavid, which is my business manager. I told him what was going on. They sent security out, this, that, and the other. And by the time I got through crying and going through all the whole thing with them and snapping, man, they telling me, it'll be cool. I said, no, it ain't cool unless y'all go find that guy. You know what I'm saying? Or find those guys or whatever. After that, I went back on stage out of being desperate because Jay had just came off and the crowd was just sitting there. So I snatched the mic back. I went out there. I was crying. I was upset. And I simply told my fans, I love them and I thank them for supporting R. Kelly. But we're in a situation with something like that where, somebody flashed some guns at me. And at this point, I'm thinking.
Did you say something? Was that the whole thing you said? Did you say something about, I think there's going to be a riot, or I think people are going to run up out of here or something like that?
I ain't say nothing like that.
No?
Don't even make sense.
Okay.
I ain't say nothing like that.
Something like people going to run out of here.
I said, I love my.
Now, how she was there. So the way she questioned it, like, did you hear him say that at you, or did you hear somebody else say he said that?
My fans, I said, I hope y'all are still my fans after I say what I gotta say. I was trying to get security to come out here and say it, but I decided to do it myself because I wanted them to hear from the horse's mouth. This is what I saw. Now, this ain't the first time I've been in an audience when somebody made a messed up gesture at me or whatever. Back in the past, this happened, in my last show sometimes, depending on what's for this one.
And what was the case in the other shows?
The other case in the other shows, it wasn't still for a minute until we can, say. So at that point in time, lawyers was back there, everybody, because just like Jay or anybody else at this point, your lawyers and everybody else going to be concerned about your well-being and notify the cops or whatever. I was done for tonight. I was done. But when Jeff Sharp, which is the promoter of the tour, came back there and told me that everything was cool, we're going to get the police out here. It's 140-some police. They called more. They're going to get them out there and sweep the place and make sure that everything is cool. And if they do that, would you feel comfortable about going back out? And I said, let's do that. They did that, and they came back, which is plenty enough time for me to go and perform. And they did. They came back. They said everything was cool. They got cops all out there.
When you say sweep the place,
just to go out there and look for the guys, see if they see anybody, and then just place them in the,
I swear he tell a story like an old uncle.
In a certain area where, if anything do jump off, they all over the place.
Right.
They all own it.
Okay. So the cops went out there. Now you're backstage. I just want to get clear.
Yeah.
So you made your announcement that you believe that there was people out there with guns waving at you. Then you went backstage, and then the cops went out to kind of secure the area more, just kind of and check. All right. So then go ahead. I'm sorry.
Then they came back, told me, they got a lot of cops out there now. Everything should be cool, even though I said to myself, but y'all ain't gonna be walking around on stage with me. I said that to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought about my fans. I thought about radio stations. I thought about what everybody was gonna say. I thought about what could possibly go down. And I said to myself, if something's gonna happen to me, it's gonna happen. Still got my what you call it, battery pack.
You still have the battery pack on.
I put my backpack on and my mic and everything like that. So we on the way back to the stage. At this point, it's me, Ja Rule. Okay, we on the way back to the stage. You know what I'm saying? And going up the stairs to go on stage. I was told, don't come up on stage, whatever. And then people start pepper spraying.
Just from where? From the crowd or from backstage?
Backstage. And I can't give no names who that is right now.
Oh, but you know who it is. You know who it was. It's somebody that you know.
Yeah.
Somebody that was upset maybe that you didn't finish your show tonight.
Well, can't say I didn't finish it.
But at that point, they assumed probably that you were not going to finish the show.
Yeah,
and what
it doesn't deserve pepper spray in the eye or the face or none of that. Doesn't deserve violence at all. Because that's not what we out here for. We out here to perform. We out here having things happen. That's been
Okay, so he got pepper spray. So the gist of it is, he received a threat the day before the concert. He went anyway. He saw people where he thought was like threatening him with weapons, and so he was like, after the second set, he like, oh hell no, I'm not getting on stage. So he didn't get on stage. So he told the crowd, hopefully you still my fans afterwards, when it happens. And then so the police came. He said 140 cops were there. They swept the place. So he decided to get back on stage. As he was going on stage, he got pepper sprayed. So later on, R. Kelly did disclose who pepper sprayed him, and it appeared to be Jay-Z's friend, Ty Smith. So it says Tyron Ty Smith of Def Jam. He's a Def Jam vice president and childhood friend of Brooklyn rapper Jay-Z, pled guilty yesterday to a disorderly conduct charge for his role in the 2004 incident where he sprayed R. Kelly and his bodyguards with mace backstage at New York's Madison Square Garden, a stop on the Best of Both Worlds tour. The charges stem from a 2004 lawsuit filed by Kelly, which alleges Jay-Z conspired to undermine his performance on the tour. Smith received 4 days of community service and 2 days of anger management counseling. It's who you know, right? It's who you know. Let's get into a little bit of Ty Smith, because this is my first time hearing about him. But apparently he's been in like lyrics and things of that sort. So I just want to veer off a little bit about Ty Smith, because he is he's very successful. So according to the lyrics, Ty mama died, I was there. My nephew died, he was there. Ty there, Eve there, Breezy there, Juan there. Ty take care of my kids after he done grieving. Jay-Z. So if you listen to any song Jay-Z song, if you listened to any Jay-Z song starting from the late 90s, then you have heard Jay-Z mention Tyron Ty Smith. Personally, I first heard his name at the 2008 Grammy Awards when Rihanna gave her acceptance speech for her award for Umbrella with Jay-Z. I asked myself, who is this Tata, saying in Rihanna's Bajan accent? To put it simply, Tata is Jay-Z's day one. Illegally, he assisted Carter during his drug dealing days and also defended Jay's honor against enemies such as R. Kelly, which we just talked about, and Jim Jones. When you are as loyal as him, there is a permanent seat for you on the ride to the top. Smith was a huge part of Def Jam and currently has a large role over at Roc Nation. He is responsible for overseeing the careers of Rihanna, Wale, and Neo. So when you are fooled by the smokes and mirrors of the faux friendships between celebrities, look past that to see who are the true foundations of your favorite public figures. So basically, this is his friend. And he's like he's like a really important figure, because I kept looking him up. Like I couldn't stop. It said he has a 20+ year career in the entertainment industry. So when Jay came up, Jay brought him up. This is his friend. Smith began his career at Marcy Music, managing several music acts and working as Jay-Z's road manager. After years of management, in 2001, Smith co-created Carter Faculty, a joint label deal with Def Jam's Records. In 2005, Smith became SVP of A&R at Island Def Jam Records. There he oversaw award-winning projects for such artists such as Rihanna, Neo, and others. Why was Neo with the Island Def Jam? Anyway, Smith co-founded Rock Nation in 2008, the global entertainment company that has cultivated many of today's top artists such as DJ Khaled, Jay-Z, J Balvin, J. Cole, Rihanna, and Shakira, among others. Now Shakira on Rock Nation. He has fostered strategic partnerships with several heavy-hitting production teams, including Grammy Award-winning duo Stargate. Smith also played a pivotal role in Rock Nation's presence and expansion into the UK creative and music sectors. So it looks like Ty Smith, he made a career out of it. He was literally Jay-Z's partner in crime. And Jay-Z, brought him up with him and gave him a career. Well, I'm not gonna say Jay-Z gave him a career because it looked like Ty was started off with music. He started off as a road manager. So two things can exist at once, right? He was his partner in crime and a music partner. So they go way, way back. So after he did his couple of days of anger management, all was well in the world. So that's who pepper sprayed him. So there's still the question of, though, this whole weapon situation, because R. Kelly kind of like backtracked and said, I thought it was a weapon. And then Jay-Z was like, ain't no weapons in Madison Square Garden. So I was a little curious of it. And I found a couple of people that were there that talked about it. So Cassidy was the rapper Cassidy was the first person that I saw online that talked about that unfortunate night. Let's get into what he had to say.
Meet R. Kelly was when he was on a tour with Jay-Z. He was performing at Madison Square Garden.
That was great that day.
Yeah, this was the first time he was going to bring me out to perform Hotel with him. And that happened. Yeah, and that happened.
What happened? The thing with your case.
No. I wasn't had nothing to do with my case. I was there to perform the song with R. Kelly, and he got into a situation with somebody else, got pepper sprayed, the show got shut down, he got rushed to the hospital.
It was on tour. It was on Debacle. I wound up on that tour with T.I. at the time because it became Jay-Z and Friends.
Oh, he could
I wasn't that night. I came after that.
Bathroom smoking. I was like, I'm about to go out on Madison Square Garden. I'm already lit. I'm already performing this shit, and I'm already super lit already. So now I'm about to go on stage with R. Kelly at Madison Square Garden. I'm about to go out and go, girl, you want to come to my hotel? I'm in the bathroom, I'm smoking, I'm ready. But I was high-headed back then, like this like before like the cases and all that, you know what I'm saying? So strapped up in the bathroom, got all gats everywhere, and all of a sudden I see
So he said he saw people with weapons.
Kelly cousins and his security, all them people, they run in the bathroom off going on. They like, yo, it's going crazy. They screaming all crazy. So we take some guns and we give them some guns. Like,
R. Kelly?
Yeah, I need to get on the stage and perform this shit. I don't know what they going through. They're screaming. He ain't saying what he going through. He just like, he's just trying to. So we get some guns and tell them we handle business so we can get on the stage. Next thing I know,
how he gave him a weapon so he could perform.
I thought it was Madison Square Garden story.
I'm just saying, like,
well, apparently everybody had guns. Cassidy was able to go backstage with guns and weapons. I don't know if YouTube gonna flash me for saying this word. So it is evident that it was some weapons back there. I don't see why he would have any reason to be dishonest. And then there was another instance I found on TikTok. Roger Bonds, which I believe was one of Diddy's bodyguards. His bodyguards know they be talking, don't they? So do they say NDAs? Because are you supposed to be telling the people business that you're protecting? Anyway, let's hear what he had to say about that night.
So if you ever been in back of Madison Square Garden, you can see them all walking up, guns in their hands. Security had the guns out and everything. In my mind, I'm saying, is this mace gonna do with these guns? But Tata, the dude tried to get on stage, Tata starts spraying the mace.
So so now if we're putting it together, so when R. Kelly said he wasn't going to go back because there were guns, that's what Cassidy said, that they ran into the bathroom saying, hey, these people got guns, blah, blah, blah. So Cassidy gave them the weapon And then this is where Roger Bond said, yeah, they saw the weapon, and then he went out and then he got pepper spray. So this was after the 140 police people that was out there. They cleaned and scoped the place and everything. Yet and still, R. Kelly still didn't feel safe going on stage, which he said because the police weren't going to be there with them. So he got the weapon from Cassidy to feel safe. And maybe Ty Smith saw the weapon on R. Kelly and he sprayed him with pepper spray. See what happened when you listen to a couple of versions? You kind of just put it all together. So unfortunately, this was the end of the Best of Both Worlds tour. It was the end. The next day, Jay-Z came out. R. Kelly wasn't there. He was joined with like T.I., Mary J. Blige, things of that sort. Like it was a whole nother concert, basically. So he did it. He did it by himself. So that's basically what happened at the Madison Square Garden. So then it doesn't end there. Can you believe that it was more going on? Like, it's just so weird because this was supposed to be like history. I mean, it is history, but not for, like the right reasons. And so if you go, we're going to go over to like Rolling Stone because R. Kelly sues. He sues Jay-Z for $75 million. And let's see why he sued him. So according to Rolling Stone, R. Kelly has filed a $75 million lawsuit against Jay-Z and his Marcy Projects production company, accusing the rapper of sabotaging this pair's abruptly canceled Best of Both Worlds tour. The suit seeks $15 million in compensatory damages and at least $60 million in punitive damages. So originally planned a 40-day outing, the tour was plagued by friction between two artists from the onset, with cancellations and late start times, which seemed like was caused by R. Kelly, which is weird that he's suing, right? The tensions reached a climax Friday at New York's Madison Square Garden when Kelly stopped the performance, and we talked about that already. So there's talking about the lighting and stuff like that. And so he sues, and then Jay-Z comes around and he countersues R. Kelly. So we're still going to go to Rolling Stone here. So Jay-Z, I sounded like Jay-Z right there. Jay-Z countersues R. Kelly in February. So Jay-Z has filed a countersuit against R. Kelly in Manhattan Supreme Court, heightening tensions between the former Best of Both Worlds tour mates. In his suit, the rapper claims that Kelly transformed the tour into a nightmarish odyssey, with the singer often arriving hours late and leaving early and in tears, and canceling 3 shows with less than a day's notice. So Jay-Z also calls Kelly's lawsuit against him, filed in November, a calculated stunt in order to deflect attention from his upcoming felony trial involving an alleged sexual liaison with a 14-year-old child. Now, this is something that Jay-Z didn't even highlight. He said he wanted to stay away from it. However, now he's throwing it back, like, because he's mad now. So now it's a big thing about the 14-year-old. It wasn't a big thing, and it wasn't enough to stop you from going on tour. But now he's deflecting from something that you kind of deflected from initially. Okay. I don't know. So Kelly is awaiting trial. So I thought the trial happened, so I'm mistaken. He's awaiting trial for the videotape we talked about. So basically what happened with the lawsuits, to make a long story short, because this video has went longer than I thought, the judge dismissed Jay-Z's countersuits, and R. Kelly and Jay-Z secretly settled. So we don't know the amount that R. Kelly received from Jay-Z, but it was a secret settlement, and nobody knows how much money that Jay-Z paid out. So that's the end of the Best of the Worlds tour, right? So you think like, hey, okay, everybody went their separate ways, it's over or whatever. But then I'm looking at Entertainment Weekly, and it's saying in 2006, the rap soul duo paired for a third tour. Like, make it make sense. Like why? Like, why do they keep doing this? I just
Hell no.
I just don't understand it. So apparently that didn't happen. So okay, so now they went their separate ways, and we're just like, okay, you think it's over, but no, it's not over. So when I'm thinking like, okay, I'm done with my research, that's the end of the video, then something else comes along. So I'm minding my business, right, and I come across this video on R. Kelly on YouTube, where R. Kelly's cellmate, Ronnie Bo, is talking about like Kel have said things about Jay-Z or whatever. And normally I'm like, okay, this is a conspiracy. I know I said no conspiracy theories, but I'm listening to this and I'm like, wait a minute, what? So I had to share this before I end this, because I'm just like, okay. So like I said, people are always talking or whatever. And I just wanted to get into a little bit of what he said that just kind of made me like say, well, I don't know. So let's get into it.
Sure. Now let's talk about Jay-Z, because I'm pretty sure, and I know I'm listening to past interviews, that you asked him about how he felt about Jay-Z. It seemed like Jay-Z at the perfect time split from R. Kelly. You know, they had the best of both worlds. I think 1 and 2. It was like the hottest thing going. The next thing you know, Jay-Z was gone. What did R. Kelly discuss to you about Jay-Z that you could share with our audience?
Well, you know, R. Kelly was supposed to do Best of Both Worlds with Tupac initially. Wow. You know
what?
And it was at a time where R. Kelly had hits like Me Against the World, Dear Mama. I mean, yeah, Tupac had those. And R. Kelly had inspirational hits like I Believe I Can Fly. So it was a great idea, and they was both in their prime at the time. So that would have been probably the biggest collaboration album in history, and it probably still wouldn't be top to this day. But he was basically saying like even Big, once Pac died or faked his death or whatever happened,
not he faked his death.
You know, Puff came to him about the idea. Like Puff wanted Big to be able to capitalize on the opportunity to do Best of Both Worlds with R.
And R. Kelly and Big did have a song together. I don't know if you remember it.
R. Kelly. And you know, he met his untimely demise. And so Jay-Z was on the rise and trying to fill in the shoes of Big and even Pac. So Jay-Z felt like if he was able to do the Best of Both Worlds with R. Kelly, it would put him where Big and Pac was at. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he was striving for most of his career, until he felt like he had exceeded their success. So he talked about that, and then he just said how much conflict they was experiencing with each other, like even during the process of putting the album together, but especially on tour. You know, like they kept having petty disagreements, and he felt like you know, Jay-Z, you know, kept saying things along the lines that like, man, you not bigger than me, like you act like you bigger than me. And he felt like Jay-Z was kind of insecure because R. Kelly at the time was technically bigger than him.
Well, Jay-Z did feel like anytime that Jay-Z did say in one of the previous clips that he felt like R. Kelly didn't like the fact that people were praising him more than Jay-Z, and now R. Kelly is saying it wasn't that he felt insecure. So that's not really matching up.
Yeah, you know, and he felt like you know, on one of the shows, one of the events when they was in Madison Square Garden, prior to that event, he said like the days before the event, he was getting death threats that he felt like was coming from Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z was trying to basically, it may sound outrageous, but he felt like Jay-Z wanted to get him killed for whatever reason. I don't know if it could have been some Illuminati sacrifice type shit. I don't know. He don't know. You know what I mean? But that's how he felt. And so when that event went bad, you know, Jay-Z got Tata, pepper sprayed him and shit. So he canceled the tour on his end, and Jay-Z had to basically carry it on his back. But
well, they're saying in the headlines, they said Jay-Z canceled the tour. Like if you go to Rolling Stone, it's a lot of like titles that saying that Jay-Z is the reason why the tour got canceled. He was like, enough of that.
You know, after that, he ended up suing Jay-Z for $70 million. So they was having conflict. And, you know, Dream Hampton is the executive producer of Surviving R. Kelly. That's her project, and that's Jay-Z ex-girlfriend. And
what? Wait, what? Let's go back.
is the executive producer of Surviving R. Kelly.
Okay.
You know, that's her project, and that's Jay-Z ex-girlfriend, and you know, he funded mostly all of her projects, if not all.
Wow. Wow. Now I know that it's like, does a person hold a grudge that long? But then I remember this one time that Jaguar Wright said like Jay-Z is in it, you know, for the long run, like he's for the long haul. Let me if you don't recall, this is what she
Sean Carter is worse.
Oh man.
He's smarter. He's patient. He's not sloppy.
So when I remembered that clip, because I was just like, and this is courtesy of Scoop of Gossip, you know, like I was just like, man, she did say that. Like I know she be saying a lot of outlandish things, but for a person to wait from 2004 all the way to like 2017, 2018, like that is really, really some diabolical, patient, like mobster type stuff, you know? And it's like, does Jay-Z really have time for this? And so I was like, well, who the heck is Dream Hampton? So she is like a writer. She has been a writer for the for hip hop. She's written about a lot of our heavy hitters, Biggie and Nas, and she's friends with I want to say Q-Tip, I believe. She co-wrote Decoded my Jay-Z's Decoded. And she has a lot of articles about Jay and Beyonce and how him and Beyonce are best friends and meant to be. Like, she's really a best friend. And so apparently they met back at Reasonable Doubt moments, and she called him a misogynist. And somehow, you know, they became friends. I guess they related off of, she's from Detroit, so maybe they related off of coming off, you know, from the streets, and maybe she just understood him a little bit more. So if you want to look her up, Dream Hampton is there, and if you put Dream Hampton and Jay-Z in, she's written a million articles about him. So the question at hand is not if you known her. I tried to look up and see if they dated, but I didn't see at all, you know, that they dated. It just seemed like they were really good friends for a long time. So, but there was like a little controversial, like little statement that she made that made me feel like, you know, like it was some YouTube video saying that she tweeted that anytime she needs funding for a documentary, she doesn't even have to share with Jay-Z what it's about. He just throws the funding at her. But I couldn't find evidence of that. It could have been deleted just like the rest of these tweets. So I did find something that she did tweet, but then she deleted it because she said that she was told to take it down. So let's get into this by complex.com, where it says Dream Hampton says Jay-Z wired tens of thousands of dollars to cover protest bill. And so it says, so the tweets were deleted, and they said that they had the screenshots, but it looked like they had to take this. Wow, her screenshots were taken down, y'all. Well, let me see if I can find another one. Okay, and so now we're going to vox.com, and let's see what they have to say about it. So they said that activist says, which is Dream Hampton, Jay-Z and Beyonce helped post bail for Baltimore protesters. According to Dream Hampton, a social justice writer, filmmaker, and organizer, they absolutely did. On Sunday, Hampton sent out a series of tweets lauding the mega couple for their generosity. She then deleted a bunch of those tweets. So seemingly aware of the likelihood that people would take screenshots of her tweets, which report a story yet not confirmed by the Nose Carters, Hampton tweeted this, which was also deleted. Well, I just got the can you shut the F up and head to brunch text. Gonna erase my error-ridden rant. Hope you got your little screenshot. As for her own personal sense of why Jay-Z and Beyonce may have donated bail money, Hampton commented, because that's what they do. And so it says they gave because that's what they do. And should I ever get major bread, I'm going to be Howard Hughes wiring out money anonymously too. So then she says J and B for stacks. It's true they gave, which is why I tweeted it, but I erased it without minutes because people believe what they want. And then she said, remind me to never tweet again. So they say they don't know what prompted her to delete the tweets, that they just, give out money when she asked. Because I think she reached out to the tweets were saying that she reached out to them and then they gave the money. And I found the article and then I lost it because my computer went out on me before I was able to ever save the code. And once you lose a link, you may never find it again. So it was I did have an article, but unfortunately I do not see it anymore. Let me just see if I can find it right quick. Here it is. And so if we go to Guardian.com, that's where I saw it. Guardian.com actually have the tweets. And it says, she says, I'm going to tweet this and I don't care if Jay gets mad, wrote Hampton, at 8:38 a.m. on Sunday. When we needed money for bail for Baltimore protesters, I asked, hit up Jay site, as I had for Ferguson, wired tens of thousands in minutes. So she said she's reached out for the Baltimore protesters. She said she reached out for Ferguson for him to wire thousands of money. She said when Black Lives Matter needed infrastructure money for the many chapters that were growing like beautiful dandelions, Carter's wrote a huge check. She continued, and more stuff, too much to list actually, that they always insist folks keep quiet. So it looks like whenever, like, it kind of corroborates with what some of the YouTubers were saying, that if she has a cause, they just wire her the money without asking. So if that is the case, if this is any indication of that, could he have provided funding for R. Kelly? But here's the thing, he doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he doesn't ask questions, did he know? But did she tell him and he did know? Because before this documentary was riding off of the Me Too era that was created by Tarana Burke, which I believe that was in I have the dates right here. That was in 2017. And so Dream and Tarana hooked up in 2018 in this interview, and I want to get into some of the stuff she said in that. And then on January 3rd, 2019, that's when Surviving R. Kelly came out. So if you look at the timing of that, even if it wasn't a personal vendetta for Jay, was it a personal vendetta from his friend Dream Hampton? Who knows? And if you want to know a little bit about what she looks like, I did get some pictures of her. Let me just see if I could just show it to you guys right quick. So this is a picture of Jay and Miss Dream. So this is a picture of them. So it's showing that they're really good friends. And look, this is a way back picture. You know what I'm saying? So they've been friends for a really, really long time. So who's to say, hey, it's a rumor without regard. Who knows? So let's get into this interview, and this will probably be the last thing on this, because I'm just kind of like, what? So it made me look her up. You know what I'm saying? And so Tarana Burke is actually the creator of the Me Too movement. Technically, she started it in 2006, but the hashtag didn't take off until 2017. So let me be clear about that. And so this is where Tarana's talking about the Me Too movement, and somehow Dream kind of segue into the R. Kelly portion of it. So let's see a little bit of this.
Folks that we need to hold accountable. And right now, Color Change is supporting a campaign that you largely made happen, when you got Time's Up to sign on to this Mute R. Kelly campaign that you started as a hashtag.
Well, and I didn't start the Mute R. Kelly hashtag.
Okay, yeah, you didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
she brought that up, and Tarana like, I didn't start that R. Kelly hashtag. So the two ladies that did start the Mute R. Kelly story behind hashtag Mute R. Kelly is Kenyetta Barnes. Excuse me if I mispronounce her name. And then there was another young lady by the name of Oronike Odele. And I might be saying it wrong, and I'm so sorry. Oronike Odele. So I apologize for that. I tried to look up to see if either of the either Barnes or Odele have any connection to Jay-Z, and it doesn't seem like Barnes said that she's tried to do the mute R. Kelly back in like 2000 when she was in college because people were just like pushing under the rug. Because like I said, he been doing this forever. You know what I'm saying? And then when I looked up Odele, she said that when she heard about the allegation of the 14-year-old, she kind of just was trying to separate the artist from the act. And her little daughter was singing "I Believe I Can Fly." There was a time where every 8th grade graduation was singing "I Believe I Can Fly." I was singing "I Believe I Can Fly." Like that was the kids. That was still is an inspirational song. You know, it is. It's so unfortunate that he can't get credit for such beautiful work because he didn't get help and he had people pushing it on the rug and he had people helping him do it. You know, like a monster was created, and no one stopped it, and it killed his legacy essentially. But anyway, Odele said that she was present at the Best of Both Worlds. See how things go full circle. She was present at the Best of Both Worlds concert in Madison Square Garden, and I think that was pretty much the end of her like rallying and listening to his music at all. Like that was it for her. So those two started the Mute R. Kelly movement. So that is why Serrano was like, nah, I don't have nothing to do with that. But Dream brought up R. Kelly. Serrano didn't bring up R. Kelly not one time. This is 15 minutes into the interview. So you're like, Nita, what is your point in that? My point in this is that like Toronto was a part of the Surviving R. Kelly project, but it doesn't seem like that was a passion of hers. She just wanted to generally get the word out. You know what I'm saying? Which is why she, started the Me Too movement. But it seemed like Dream had an agenda, like a pointed agenda against R. Kelly. And don't think that I'm saying like, hey, he didn't deserve this and all of this, because I mean he did what he did. But the point of this video is, did Jay-Z help fund the documentary that pretty much like killed R. Kelly's career? Like after Unmute R. Kelly, people were the concerts was canceled. The music went down. People were taking down like their collaborations and things of that sort with him. So it pretty much just demolished everything R. Kelly, right? And so I just want to get into a little bit of what she said in the interview about R. Kelly, her as in Dream.
This
is from Atlanta. Will you say their names? Oh, okay. This is
Kenyette is from Atlanta, and I forgot the Oshadi. I think it's from Detroit or Chicago.
It says Kenyette and Oshadi. I'm so sorry, sisters, if you ever see this. I messed up your name. I apologize.
They're both in Atlanta.
They're both in Atlanta.
I filmed them both for the. I'm doing a docuseries about R. Kelly, basically about the women who survived R. Kelly. And Tarana is in the docuseries. It'll be out on Lifetime in October. Thank you. So let's talk about R. Kelly real quick. I mean, and conceding that we have all stepped in the name of love. I mean, it has become it's become, it has not replaced. I don't want to offend nobody, but it has become the new Frankie Beverly.
Oh, she said some stuff like that. You can't replace Frankie Beverly, baby. His fans be serious about. You think the Beehive is serious? Frankie Beverly is serious. Them fans, they devoted, baby.
Before we let you, the wedding song, the Frankie Beverly after the first dance, and when you want everybody to get on the floor, you turn on Frankie Beverly. For a generation, it has been R. Kelly now, Step in the Name of Love. And as someone who used to write about music, I can tell you that the Chocolate Factory, which is what Step in the Name of Love is on an album called The Chocolate Factory. And that album was released after the videotape came out where we all witnessed R. Kelly committing their children.
I did not watch that tape.
In the room, so I'm not going to describe the video, but committing violence against a 14-year-old girl, sexual violence. And what he did is he then came out with the best album of his career.
Yep. And we forgot about it just like that.
But you didn't let us forget about it. No. You and other folks, because you definitely were an amplifier of the Mute R. Kelly hashtag. So let's talk about.
She was the amplifier, but she didn't create it. And I hate that she's still putting that on Toronto. And Toronto said, I didn't have anything to do with that hashtag. She did amplify and maybe push for people the Mute R. Kelly hashtag to take place. Because like I said, Kenyette was trying to do this way before any of this. Like she was back in 2000 trying to mute R. Kelly.
And again, Color Change is running a campaign to get RCA to drop him in this moment. Yes. So yeah, thank you, Color Change. So And I can tell you, having worked on this project and thought about this man for 12 years, that this is beyond.
Oh,
I mean, he is to the left of Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. So she thought about this for 12 years. She's interviewed Jay-Z and everybody in the industry, and she knew Jay-Z back when Best of Both Worlds. How come not push that agenda back then when the video came out? See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, why wait till now? I guess because like she said, the Me Too movement amplified, the effort or whatever. But it's like all this time, and she even asked her friend and Jay-Z to be in the documentary, considering they worked so much together, and he declined. He'd do anything for her. He'll wire millions of dollars to her, but he did not go and he did not say anything in that documentary. Yet this has been on her mind for 12 years. For 12 years, but it didn't come out until 2019.
I have no idea. The stuff that I'm not going to be able to put on the TV is crazy, insane. Yeah. So can we talk a little bit about that campaign and what it means when we do target someone individual?
All right, so that's pretty much Dream Hampton. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes, really, I don't know. I don't know what to say on that. Like, my 2 cents on that is if Jay-Z did wait like a million years, basically 20 years, or no, actually less than 20, but almost 20 years to ruin this guy's career, then wow, what a patient person. It just seemed like some things in theory are not always a good idea, and I feel like basically that's what happened with the Best of Both Worlds. Everyone knew that R. Kelly had some issues, yet everyone was still working with him. With Tupac was supposed to be with him, and then Biggie was supposed to be with him, and then Jay-Z was like, okay, this will catapult my career. And probably one of his biggest regrets that he did because it just seemed like it was just too much ego, and then R. Kelly sues him and he gets like this secret amount of money, which when it's a secret, it's a lot of money. And Jay wasn't gonna let that fly. So, I mean, if you're thinking about him having motive, then that definitely is motive. But like I say, it's all hearsay. We don't know. It's not a conspiracy type of thing. But, people with money do have, the time, the money, the resources, and the effort to do things like this. And if Dream just gets money just by asking, and she's a journalist, and a music writer, it makes sense to ask a friend for a favor and pose it as a passion of hers, because she has such great work out here. So this is not to discredit Dream Hampton. It's just, could that possibly be a thing? You know what I'm saying? So basically the Best of Both Worlds collided. And it really sucks because they were both very, very talented. And we could sit here and say, well, R. Kelly, shot himself in the foot or whatever on this. But my thing is, when the Best of Both Worlds were out, his allegations weren't a thing. It didn't stop people from touring. It didn't stop any of that. So I feel like highlighting that factor is a moot point. And no one is saying, hey, except for Nas, you were on tour with this guy and you didn't see anything crazy, or you were, in the studio with this guy and you didn't see any underage girls. So a lot of people do question him on that and his integrity. I know that Dame Dash stayed clear of that project because he was dating Aaliyah at the time, and he just felt like it was disrespectful to her. So, it's a lot of people that said something, but not a lot of people. It's a small amount of people that had something to say with that collaboration. But it just went under the rug. Even before Surviving R. Kelly, this project is just like, it just disappeared or whatever. So what do you think about all of this in the comments? Like, were you a fan of the Best of Both Worlds? How do you feel? Do you think that Surviving R. Kelly was a long game, revenge or whatever? Or do you just think it's just coincidental that Dream is connected to Jay? I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. And until next time, be kind to yourself and be careful who you collaborate with. And until next time, bye.